Hello dear students, welcome back all of you to the physics online class, Royal Palace PU College, Jamkandi. We already started the chapter that is the nuclei, chapter number 13, nuclei, yes, and here the weightage of marks for the total theory questions will be, totally 6 marks will come. And we started the point of the nucleus. According to the Rutherford atomic model, we came to know that the whole mass of the atom is concentrated at the center, that only the nucleus. And yesterday we talked about what are the constituent particles present inside the nucleus. The main constituent are proton and neutron. Proton is a positively charged, neutron is a neutral. Then atomic number. Atomic number means what? It is the total number of the protons present inside the nucleus. And in the neutral atom, that will be also is equal to the, that is total number of the electrons present in the atom, yes. And next for the different atoms, so we given the atomic number, and similarly we talked about the atomic mass number. What is the atomic mass number? It is the sum of, it gives me the sum of the masses, that is the total number of protons and the neutrons present inside the nucleus, that is denoted by a letter called capital A. Then the nucleus, usually the nucleus of an atom, how to represent that? It is represented by XZA. So this letter we are using, where X is the nucleus of the given atom, Z is the atomic number, A is the atomic mass number. Okay. Then next, based on the same number of the protons or the same number of the neutrons or the same atomic mass number, we classified them into the 3 types, right, that are isotopes, isobars and isotones. For every respective concept we also given the example. Next, isobar means what? Where the mass number of the nuclei remains same, atomic number may change. And isotopes means what? Where the atomic number remains the same, mass number will change. Isotones means what? Atomic number also change, mass number also change, but they may have same proton numbers. Okay. Then next, nuclear size, where nuclear size can be given by R is equal to R naught into A raised to 1 by 3, because we considered that the nucleus of an atom is spherical in a shape. If R is taken as a radius, then its volume, the size of the nucleus means volume can be considered, it is directly proportional to the atomic mass number. So by this we can calculate the R value. Then here R naught is nothing but it will be having a value of 1.2 to 1.3 Fermi, so it is constant. Then nuclear density, nuclear mass and the nuclear density. Nuclear density for almost all the nuclei, that is taking constant, it will be having a value, yes. And today let us move to the next concept of the chapter, that is energy mass relation. Because in the previous class whatever point we discussed, that are all about the basic concept of the nucleus, right. And here actually in the earlier days the scientist Einstein given a proper relation between the mass and the energy. So by considering the theory of the relativity, he had given an expression for how the energy can be converted into the mass and the mass can be converted into energy. So by his expression, it is quite clear that in the case of the nuclear process, the energy and masses are interconvertible. Interconvertible means what? Energy can be converted into mass or vice versa. Mass can be converted into energy. Then in his expression, he has given a formula, that is energy E is equal to mc square. E is equal to mc square. where E is the energy. E is the energy, m is the mass, and c is called velocity or the speed of light. Speed of light in vacuum. In vacuum. So, by this it is clear that energy is converted into mass and mass is interconverted into energy. And in the case of the speed of the light in a vacuum, we are taking its approximate value. See, generally in our numericals we are considering c is equal to 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. Okay. Then here c is taken to be 2.9979 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second, that is the nearest approximate value of the speed of the light in the vacuum can be taken. Okay. Then now let us move the few of the example how the energy can be converted into mass and vice versa. See, here we talk about two process. One is called pair annihilation. Pair annihilation. Another one we call pair production. Pair production. Yes, in the pair annihilation what happens? Annihilation means destruction. Actually, there are two particles. One is a positron, another one is a electron. Positron is the antiparticle of the electron. So, both will be having same magnitude, but opposite charge is present. When a positron and an electron come in contact together, they will be destroyed. They annihilate each other, and that mass is converted in the form of the gamma radiation. In the form of gamma radiation. Such a process is called as the pair annihilation. That means the positron and the electron, the mass of them is destructed, that is destroyed, and is converted into the energy, that is in the form of the gamma photon here, isn't it? So, such a process, the mass is converted into the energy. So, that is called the pair annihilation process. Am I clear? Then pair production. The second one is a pair production. When a gamma radiation of energy nearly 1.02 mega electron volt, of energy 1.02 mega electron volt approaching a heavy nucleus. When this gamma radiation that is approaching a heavy nucleus, what happens here? It splits the heavy nucleus with the production of positron and the electron. Yes, there the energy here, energy gamma rays means that is the energy, that energy is converted into the masses. So, such a process we call it as the pair production process. Is that clear? Okay. So, these two are related to the Einstein's mass energy relation. Then now let us talk the energy related to one atomic mass unit. How much energy we can take for one atomic mass unit? Energy related to one atomic mass unit. Yes, see, we have the formula E is equal to mc square. Then here mass of the proton I can consider 1.667 into 10 raised to minus 27 kg here, and C is taken to be 2.9979 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second is considered. Okay. Then when you take and substitute the values in the expression, we get that 1.66 into 10 raised to minus 27 into 2.9979 into 10 raised to 8 square. So, after this E is equal to 14.91 into 10 raised to minus 11 joule. This much energy is produced. But this joule energy I want to convert in terms of electron volt. Therefore, we know that 1 electron volt is equal to 1.602 into 10 raised to minus 19 joules here. So, now joule is there, I want to convert into electron volt. Then how can you write? 1 joule is equal to, I can write 1 upon 1.602 10 raised to minus 19 electron volt we can write. So, now we do the same thing, then energy E is equal to 14.91 into 10 raised to minus 11 upon 1.602 into 10 raised to minus 19. When we do the simplification here, our value will come 9.313 into 10 raised to 8 electron volt here, 9.313 into 10 raised to 8 electron volt. Then again this is simplified as E is equal to, energy E is equal to 931.3 into 10 raised to 6 electron volt. Then this is nothing but E is equal to 931.3 10 raised to 6 can be named as a mega electron volt. Therefore, 1 unit of the mass is equivalent to 931.3 mega electron volt of the energy. This is a very important relation between the mass and the energy. Idén ಹೇಳುತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ 1 unit of the mass of the nuclear or the nucleus is equal to how much energy? 931.3 mega electron volt of the energy, it is equivalent. Am I clear? Yes. So, this is what about the energy mass relation and the relation between the 1 unit mass into the energy. Then now let us move to the further concept, that is binding. Actually first mass defect we will study. Mass defect. Yes, what is a mass defect? Whenever we are studying about the mass of the nucleus, we found that the total mass of the total mass of the nucleons is always greater than the actual mass of the nucleus. That means the sum of the mass of proton and the neutron is greater than the actual mass of the nucleus. Then when we take the difference between these two masses, that is the sum of mass of the nucleon, that is if I take the difference between the masses of the nucleons and the actual mass of the nucleus, that difference only we call it as the mass defect. What is a mass defect? Mass defect is represented by a letter delta m. Sometime it may be a capital M or sometime it may be small m also. Yes. Then delta m is equal to what? It is the difference between mass of nucleons and actual mass of nucleus. Okay. Then in the previous class we also learnt the mass of the nucleons. How to represent that? The mass of the nucleons. Nucleons means what? The protons and the neutrons together inside the nucleus are called as the nucleons. Okay. Therefore, mass of nucleons means ZMP plus A minus ZMN, A minus ZMN minus the actual mass of the nucleus, I represent it as a capital M here. Therefore, the mass defect delta M is equal to, so this formula we can use to find the mass defect of the any nucleus, where you know that Z is equal to atomic number, MP is the mass of the proton, A minus Z is the number of the neutrons, Mn is mass of the neutron, and capital M is the actual mass of the given nucleus. Okay. Then now let us talk about the binding energy. Binding energy. Okay. Then what is the binding? See, in the while studying about the nuclear force, we learnt that the nucleons inside the nucleus are holding by a strong attractive force. Inside the nucleus, the nucleons that are protons and the neutrons, they are holding by a strong nuclear force. Yes, and if you want to separate that nucleons, what we need to do there? We need to apply, we need to do external work there. That external work is called as the binding energy. The amount of the energy required to split up the nucleons, that is called as the binding energy. That nucleus, if you want to split up and you want to separate, not to split up means separate the nucleons, then that energy required is called as the binding energy, and that binding energy is denoted by a letter B here, or else Be we are using, Be, that is binding energy. What is the binding energy? The amount of the energy required to separate the nucleons inside the nucleus is called binding energy. And during the separation, when the nucleons are separated, the some part of the mass is dissipated. That dissipated mass only that converted as the energy there. Therefore, amount of the mass defect is also equal to the binding energy. We can also write the mass defect. The mass defect can also be equal to the binding energy. Therefore, when you want to calculate the binding energy of the given nucleus of the atom, then I write here mass defect into C square. Remember, this is another important formula here. Here delta M, or else here also you can use a small m, no problem, or capital M also, no problem. By using this formula, I can write the mass binding energy as well as the mass defect. So, in order to get the binding energy, we need to go for first the calculation of the mass defect. Then if you multiply with that with the C square, then you get the answer, that is in terms of mega electron volt. Or else here you can also do that, that is delta M into 931.3 in mega electron volt. This can also give us the binding energy value. Okay. So, I hope dear students, whatever the points we discussed up to now are clear, and only the few part of the concept is remaining, that is nuclear energy. So, nuclear energy, in that two processes we need to get understand. One is a nuclear fission, another one is a nuclear fusion. With respect to that, if you are discussing, then the topic will get over. There we need to understand the differences between nuclear fission and the nuclear fusion reaction, and we need to understand that with the help of the example also. Actually, after the nuclear fission and the fusion reaction, we were having the syllabus radioactivity, alpha, beta, gamma decay. But remember dear students, that part is deleted from your portion for the academic year. That is why we are not going to discuss that point. Even we are not discussing about the specific binding energy, that is the binding energy per nucleon, and its graph also we have not discussed in these videos. Okay, I hope the points are clear. The remaining part, that is hardly of the, so nuclear energy we discuss, and we solve 2 of the numericals of this chapter, and we finish off the chapter. Thank you for watching my videos.